Oliver Jenkins was a quiet, lonely boy living in the small town of Willow Creek. The town was surrounded by thick, ancient woods that seemed to whisper secrets to those brave enough to listen. Oliver loved exploring these woods, finding solace in the trees and the creatures that lived there. But one fateful day, he discovered something that would change his life forever. It was a chilly autumn afternoon, and Oliver had ventured deeper into the woods than ever before. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows that danced eerily on the forest floor. As he walked, he stumbled upon an overgrown path that led to a clearing. In the middle of the clearing stood an old, dilapidated treehouse, partially hidden by vines and moss. Oliver's heart raced with excitement and curiosity. He had never seen the treehouse before, and it looked like it had been abandoned for years. He climbed the rickety ladder, his hands shaking with anticipation. When he reached the top, he found a small door, slightly ajar. Pushing it open, he stepped inside and gasped in awe. The interior was surprisingly well preserved. Dusty but charming, the treehouse was filled with old books, toys, and drawings. It felt like stepping into another world. As Oliver explored, he noticed something strange, a faint whispering voice calling his name.
Oliver. Oliver.
He spun around, his heart pounding. "Who's there?" she called out, but there was no answer. The voice seemed to come from the very walls of the treehouse. Just as he was about to leave, the whispering grew louder and more distinct. "Oliver, don't be afraid. I'm here to help you." Oliver's fear turned to curiosity. Who are you?" she asked, his voice trembling. "I'm Treemont," the voice replied. "I've been waiting for someone like you. This treehouse is magical, and I can take you on adventures beyond your wildest dreams." Oliver's eyes widened. Really? But how?" Just trust me," Treemont said. Close your eyes and think of a place you've always wanted to visit." Hesitant but excited, Oliver closed his eyes and thought of a place he had read about in one of his books, a land of giant mushrooms and talking animals. Suddenly, he felt the treehouse shudder and lift off the ground. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in a fantastical land, just as he had imagined. He stepped out of the treehouse and was greeted by Benny, a chatty bunny with big, curious eyes. "Welcome, Oliver. I'm Benny, and I'll be your guide." Oliver couldn't believe his eyes. This is amazing. How is this possible?" "A Treemont is a magical treehouse," Benny explained. "It can take you anywhere you want to go. But remember, not all places are safe. You must be brave and smart." Oliver nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. He had always dreamed of going on adventures, and now it was happening. Benny led Oliver through the land of giant mushrooms, where they met Lulu, a whimsical fairy who joined them on their adventure. They explored candy mountains, swam in crystal-clear lakes, and flew over rainbow rivers. It was like living in a dream. But as the sun began to set, Benny grew serious. "We need to get back to the treehouse before dark. There are dangers in this land that come out at night." Oliver agreed, though he was reluctant to leave. As they made their way back, they heard a rustling in the bushes. Suddenly, a group of shadowy figures emerged, their eyes glowing with malice. "Who are they?" Oliver whispered, his heart racing. "Night stalkers," Benny replied, his voice trembling. "They're dangerous creatures that hunt anyone who stays out after dark." Oliver's mind raced as he tried to think of a plan. "We need to get back to Treemont. Can you lead the way, Benny?" Benny nodded, and they ran as fast as they could, the night stalkers close behind. Just when it seemed like they wouldn't make it, the treehouse appeared in the distance. They scrambled up the ladder and slammed the door shut, breathing heavily. "That was close," Oliver said, his heart pounding. "Too close," Benny agreed. "We need to be more careful." Treemont's voice echoed in the treehouse. "You were brave, Oliver. But remember, this world is full of dangers. You must always be vigilant. Oliver nodded, realizing that his adventures would not be without risks. But he was determined to face whatever challenges came his way. Over the next few weeks, Oliver continued to visit the treehouse, each time embarking on a new adventure. He met new friends, discovered magical lands, and faced many dangers. But one question lingered in his mind: why was Treemont helping him? One day, after a particularly thrilling adventure, Oliver decided to ask, Treemont, why are you doing this? Why did you choose me?" There was a moment of silence before Treemont replied, Long ago, I was just an ordinary treehouse. But a powerful sorcerer cast a spell on me, giving me the ability to travel between worlds. He hoped that one day, a special child would find me and use my powers for good." Oliver was intrigued. What happened to the sorcerer? He vanished, leaving me to wait for the right person. And now, that person is you, Oliver. You have a good heart and a brave spirit. Together, we can do great things. Oliver felt a surge of pride and responsibility. "I'll do my best, Treemont. I won't let you down." Treemont's voice was warm and reassuring. "I know you won't, Oliver. But there's something you must know. There's a dark force that seeks to control me. It will stop at nothing to take my power. You must be prepared to face it." Oliver's heart skipped a beat. What do you mean?"
Eux en ils veulent, sorcerer Named Malakar.
"He wants to use my powers for his own gain. If he succeeds, all the worlds we've visited will be in danger." Oliver felt a chill run down his spine. He had faced many dangers, but this was different. How can we stop him?" "We must find the Heartstone," Treemont said. "It's a powerful gem that can protect us from Malakar's magic. It's hidden in a place called the Shadowlands." Oliver took a deep breath, his determination growing. Then we need to find it. Let's go, Treemont." The next morning, Oliver packed his backpack with supplies and climbed into the treehouse. Treemont shuddered and lifted off the ground, transporting them to the Shadowlands. The Shadowlands were a dark and desolate place, filled with twisted trees and eerie shadows. The air was thick with fog, and the only sound was the distant howl of wolves. Oliver felt a sense of foreboding, but knew he had to be brave. Benny and Lulu joined him, their faces set with determination. We have to be careful," Benny said. Malakar's minions are everywhere." They made their way through the Shadowlands, encountering many dangers along the way. They crossed rickety bridges, navigated treacherous swamps, and avoided traps set by Malakar's minions. But their determination never wavered. Finally, they reached a dark cave where the Heartstone was said to be hidden. The entrance was guarded by a massive stone golem, its eyes glowing with a sinister light. We need to distract it," Lulu whispered. "I'll use my magic to create an illusion, and Benny can lead it away. Oliver, you go inside and find the Heartstone." Oliver nodded, his heart pounding. As Lulu and Benny executed their plan, he slipped into the cave, the darkness swallowing him whole. Inside the cave, Oliver felt his way along the walls, his flashlight casting eerie shadows. The air was cold and damp, and the sound of dripping water echoed through the cavern. As he ventured deeper, he saw a faint, glowing light ahead. The Heartstone. It was a beautiful, radiant gem that pulsed with a soft, white light. But as he reached for it, a voice echoed through the cave. "Who dares to take the Heartstone?" Oliver spun around to see Malakar, the evil sorcerer, standing before him. His eyes were dark and filled with malice, and he held a staff that crackled with dark energy. "I do," Oliver said, summoning all his courage. "You won't stop me." Malakar laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the cave. "You think you can defeat me, boy? I am the most powerful sorcerer in all the realms." Oliver's mind raced as he tried to think of a plan. He knew he couldn't defeat Malakar with brute force. He had to be clever. He reached into his backpack and pulled out a small mirror, holding it up to reflect the light of the Heartstone. The light intensified, blinding Malachar and causing him to stumble back. Seizing the opportunity, Oliver grabbed the Heartstone and ran, the cave shaking as Malachar's rage echoed through the walls. He burst out of the cave to find Benny and Lulu waiting for him. "I've got it," he shouted. Great. Let's get out of here," Benny replied. They raced back to the treehouse, Malachar's minions hot on their heels. Just as they reached the ladder, a blast of dark energy knocked them off their feet. Malachar had caught up to them. "You can't escape me," he roared. But before he could strike, Treemont's voice boomed through the air. "Leave them alone, Malachar. They have the Heartstone." A beam of light shot out from the treehouse, enveloping Malachar and his minions. They writhed in agony before vanishing into thin air. Oliver, Benny, and Lulu climbed into the treehouse, their hearts racing. "We did it," Oliver said, clutching the Heartstone. "We really did it." Treemont's voice was filled with relief. "You've done well, Oliver. But there's one final task. We must seal Malachar's power for good." "How do we do that?" Oliver asked. "Place the Heartstone in the center of the treehouse," Treemont instructed. "Its magic will create a barrier that Malachar cannot breach." Oliver did as he was told, placing the Heartstone on a small pedestal in the center of the treehouse. As soon as he did, a radiant light filled the room, and a protective barrier enveloped the treehouse. "It's done," Treemont said. Malachar's power is sealed. He can no longer harm us." Oliver felt a sense of relief wash over him. "Thank you, Treemont. For everything." Treemont's voice was warm and reassuring.
No, Oliver.
"Thank you. You've shown great courage and determination. The worlds are safer because of you." With Malachar defeated and the Heartstone in place, Oliver continued to visit the treehouse, embarking on new adventures with Benny and Lulu. He made new friends, discovered magical lands, and faced many challenges, but he was always ready for whatever came his way. He had learned that true magic came from within, and with courage, determination, and the help of his friends, he could face any challenge. The treehouse was no longer just a place of adventure, it was a symbol of hope and possibility. Oliver's life had changed in ways he could never have imagined, and he was grateful for every moment. The Talking Treehouse had opened his eyes to a world of wonder and excitement, and he knew that as long as he believed in himself, anything was possible. And so the legend of the Talking Treehouse lived on, not just as a tale of magic and mystery, but as a story of courage, friendship, and the power of believing in oneself. Oliver's adventures would inspire others to dream big, take risks, and embrace the unknown, knowing that the magic they sought was always within reach.